To start with, Carl Jung has a seesaw pattern type. 3 planets on one side, 7 on the other. You see the 2 empty areas on the 2 sides very clearly. 2 planets on one side with 8 on the other, 3 on one side with 7 on the other, 4 on one side with 6 on the other, 5 on one side, 5 on the other. There must be 2 empty areas that divide the chart in half. You can draw a line through the 2 empty areas right across the chart and going through the center. You can see that, like that. And both areas must be larger than a sextile. The seesaw type is sensitive to both sides of any situation. You will be continuously challenged to empower one side or the other. As soon as one side predominates, the other will make demands. You live in a world of polarities and conflicts. You are capable of a vast understanding, but too often waste your energies being incorrectly aligned. Okay, so that's the pattern type. I want to get to the moon phase. Here we go. The moon phase, it's the waning half moon phase. You can see the sun, look at the opposite point from the sun, and then you see you look in the order of the signs, you see the moon's not on that counterclockwise movement. It's moving from Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. It's moving back to the sun. So it's the waning phase. It's the waning. And when we look at the aspect, just take a look at the aspect degree. When we look at the aspect degree, we see that the moon-sun aspect is 77 degrees, 48 minutes. So less than a square, between 90 degrees and 45 degrees. So it's the waning half moon phase. This phase begins at the waning half and ends 3.5 days later at the crescent moon. The moonlight is diminishing. Less than half of the moon sphere is lit up and it's getting smaller. There's a sense of moving towards a new beginning somewhere in the not too distant future. There's also a sense of being insignificant in the light of what is to come. You might at times feel that you are losing your independence and wanting to find reinforcement from someone else, anyone else. You will often feel that you are changing and will not be doing what you presently are involved in. Along with this comes a sense of maintaining a facade or image while preparing within for a very different reality. The minute you find yourself in a committed situation, you will either want more or you will start preparing for the next one. This means that you often harbor doubts about the present and hope for a better future. With this attitude, consistency can be a problem. This is a puzzle because you see, he's a very fixed person. So anyways, we'll get to this, but this inconsistency comes between the 2 sides, between wanting to belong and wanting reinforcement, or wanting support from others, or wanting recognition from others, and having his own thing to do. So having his own ideas and yet being the counselor, it's part of this. At the same time, when Carl Jung was originally a student of Sigmund Freud, and he studied and worked with Sigmund Freud for many times on his Freudian analysis and psychotherapy. And then after studying with him, and when Freud was feeling very connected with him and teaching him, then he broke away to teach his own thing and to follow his synchronicity and his own way of going at things. So he learned, and then he still was preparing to go on his own way. Okay. You want to share, but you have to have a sense of why and where it is all leading to. If you feel that the people around you are not sharing or going in the same direction as you, you will align yourself to new aspirations and new associates. Often it will seem, so which is again an example of him studying with Freud and then breaking away and going his own way. Often it will seem like you are just waiting for the opportunity to change. Old accomplishments will be left behind for new adventures and new relationships. Your idealism about relationships can cause personal pain and bring vulnerabilities to the surface. It is important for you to get hugs and encouragement. You seem to lose yourself in every new involvement. You're a little too quick to respond to the need or the time demand. You need to try to find quality in your relationships rather than quantity. You need to understand why you are attracting the people that you do. You are looking for the seeds, but often don't look deep enough. You want someone else to show you the answer. You try to throw yourself too strongly and prematurely into relationships and then try excessively hard to make it work. Sometimes the other person does not deserve or meet your energy. Okay, so this allows a lot of reflection to go into it, but it's a good exercise in seeing how a seesaw type can happen between my togetherness and my sense of independence, and these two wavering back and forth across the lifetime. Okay, now, okay, the next factor is the sun, moon, and ascendant. So his sun is in Leo, his moon is in Taurus, and his ascendant's in Aquarius. So we're just going to put this up with the points so we can, yeah, we'll just put this up with the points so we have it here. And this is what when you're doing this and you just make the associations, you think a little bit about it, you make the connections, you find a connection to, that's fine. You don't have to do, you can spend hours on it if you want, but you don't have to. You can go through all these things first and you can come back to see the things that are the biggest triggers or the most insightful factors. This is just creating the overview and walking into understanding the psyche or the matrix of the person's being, or Carl Jung's identity or being. So we had the seesaw, we had the waning half moon, we had the sun, moon, and ascendant sign. The outstanding thing, these are all fixed signs. So when we saw it in the moon phase, the tendency to be indecisive around relationships, are a little bit indecisive, wanting one, wanting to get onto the other. Here you see his nature is really determined and consistent. So it's not, it counters the moon phase as being really fluctuating, like being indecisive. He still might have the idealism, might want to work with one and break away, but he's going to have a consistency within this. But there's fire, earth, and air. There's not water accentuated here, so it doesn't look so emotional. What you're seeing, the determined fixity is what stands out most. His determination, his consistency, stubbornness, if you like. And so you have the moon in Taurus where he needs to be appreciated, or how you have the sun in Leo where he needs to be noticed and get attention. And the Aquarius ascendant needs to be listened to, needs to be knowledgeable. Okay. You see these little, they're simple little statements, but they're validating things, they're reinforcing the archetype. So here, when we look at how many points are in the signs, we see 4 points in Taurus I have, 2 points in Cancer I feel, so there's a feeling, 3 points. And when we're doing this, we're thinking against the background of Sun, Moon, Ascendant, which was just a generalization to see how we get along with it. 4 I have, 2 I feel, 3 I will, 0 I analyze, 1 I balance, 1 I desire, 1 I understand, 1 I know. So I know. So his outstanding thing is I have and I will. I have this, I will do this. Okay, so this is, okay, that's it. And the other factors are there, but these are his key. I have, I will, I feel. His 3 most accentuated signs. When we're looking at darkness increasing and daylight increasing, something's wrong here. I missed one. 8 and 5. No, there's one missing. In the points, let's see what we got. 1 and 7. 2 in Aquarius. There it is. Okay. I can't fix it on here, but okay. So there's 2. Okay, well, I'll just have to go fix the whole thing. Okay. So easy to, I'm trying to do it. Okay. So I'll just redo the points. Okay, redo points here. So we got 4 in Taurus. It's important. There's 4, none in Aries, 4 in Taurus, none in Gemini, 2 in Cancer, 3 points in Leo, 1 in Virgo, 1 in Libra, midheaven in Scorpio, 1 in Mars in Sag, and 2 points in Aquarius. There they are with 14. Okay, good. So we'll just work with this for now. So we have the correct points. Okay. Okay, here we go. My apologies. Well, at least there's certain checks. There's always has to be 14 points. So I'm going through the points. When I got to the daylight increasing and darkness increasing, it wasn't. It was 13, not 14. So I knew. I miscounted, so went back and fixed it. Okay, 8-point darkness increasing, 6 points. Daylight increasing. This is not a big extreme, but still, this is the seesaw. It's I want to belong. I want to belong. Darkness increasing. I'll take on responsibilities. I'm moving towards others, and my relationship with others is more meaningful than my being independent. But I still have a fair amount of having to move toward be independent too. That's it. But the momentum towards doing things for others and being responsible, being involved is important. So not only knowing psychology, but setting up his own institution to work for other people, that it moved in that direction. The daylight is greater, 9 points daylight is greater, 5 points darkness is greater. So he's moving towards belonging, doing things for others, but he's doing it his way. The 9 points daylight is greater. It's got to be my way. It's my insights. It's the way I understand. This is the way I see it. And he's still stable with the fixed signs and seeing, presenting who he is and how he is. He wouldn't, that stability would stand well in consultations because he would be consistent. But the daylight greater here, his way, this was when he was studying with Freud. He would have been the follower and had to follow his ideas and follow and back up Freud. He was building up his own ideas. So eventually he moved to set up his own thing based on the synchronicity. And we have, I mean, Freud was a psychotherapist. We're going to do his chart next week. But Jung really brought in mystical or abstract concepts into the equation, brought in Nietzsche, brought in astrology, brought in other concepts, brought in synchronicity, and moved a little further away from the Freudian complex, or elaborated that it wasn't just that. So this was the contrast he worked through. Okay, when we look at the winter, at the seasons, 2 winter, 4 spring, 5 summer, 3, I have a fairly even, 2, 4, 5, 3. Summer was his most active time. He's the Leo, it's natural. When you look at cardinal, fixed, and mutable, 3 cardinal, 10 fixed, 1 mutable. This is really extremely fixed. This is very determined, stubborn, consistent, resistant. His way, he doesn't change. So, I mean, to Freud, it seems like he changed when he left him, but he was being consistent and building up other things. And it was Freud that wasn't so much aligning with him that brought him to knowing when he realized it wasn't going to have a chance to have his insights, he would go the way where he would get the insights or express his own way. But this fixed, this determination, this allows him to hold to a concept and hold to ideas and maintain them across a lifetime. Just incredibly determined, not very adaptable, not even very driving. It's sort of